Two teams trying to stake their claim to postseason football. Week 14 of the NFL is
First off,
underway.
the main thing that he needs to understand, number one, this is a lesson. He's not the first class to get a speeding ticket. It's not that big of a
And he's
deal.
free going down the left side. It's a foot race.
Number two, mom used to tell me a lot of stuff that grandma would say. Grandma taught me a lot too. And grandma always used to tell me once I started making plays and all that in college, she said, grandson, a lot of people want to see.
So a heck of a
Don't
start
give
to
them
this one. We
any
haven't even gotten
opportunity
settled
to see.
in already in
If
the
you're
end zone on the
taking
opening
fewer
kickoff.
reps, do you think that's a bad sign?
You got to translate what that means, because I think for the team that just scored, their defense, I think they'll be more aggressive now. They'll be bolder. They're playing with a lead and an early one and some momentum. So if you're the offensive coordinator on the other side of the field,
This on this
you
squad,
better
he's
be
relatively
prepared
young,
for
even
some
though I
heavy
don't think that
pressure
he's the
coming your way.
face of the
They're gonna try to
franchise
get
for the
another
future.
big
Okay, of
score
course,
and a
Joe
big one
Flacco's an
early.
experienced veteran. You got him there as a security blanket. You should have had him there last year, okay? But when I look
So
at
now the
Shador
other
Sanders,
return
I mean,
teams out there as
consider
they'll try to
what he
duplicate
did.
what they
His
just
career
saw.
completion percentage is the best in the FBS. 71, more than 71% for his career. He completed
And able to
74%
get
of his
this
passes.
out to the
Last year,
25.
he has back 2 times. Okay, 90 plus times over the 2 years that he was at Colorado. The brother can play. But what you drafted him, Phil, it didn't just his football skill. Him being there, you want to test a lot of things about Shador Sanders. And most of it, of course, his skill set is one thing. You want to make sure he can play on this level. But his temperament, his willingness to hit, not ability, because we know he has the ability, but his willingness to handle adversity. There's more that you want to see in the Browns, how he's going to react to not being first team. Or right now being QB1 and taking a step back. You want to see how he's going to react while they're taking a look at Dylan Gabriel. You want to see what his temperament is like, what happened, because of all the things that have been said about him. So I don't have a problem that at all. I'm going to get perfect answers yesterday. But more importantly, Cleveland testing him this way doesn't bother me either, because what you're trying to do is submit about his character, not just his play. And I think that it's good for a young person in his position to be put through those tests, because ultimately you're going to be tested. So why not start from scratch and try to test them? Let's talk Cleveland Browns, because something's brewing behind those locker room doors, and it's got the whole NFL paying attention. Rookie quarterback Shador Sanders, 5th-round draft pick, has lit a fire under this team. His performance during OTAs hasn't just impressed. Sparked a full, long conversation about the future of the Browns quarterback. Before we get to the off-field headlines, let's start with the numbers. Because when it comes to what he's doing on the field, Sanders is giving the Browns something to think about. The Browns are in the middle of a true quarterback competition. 4 names in the mix: Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and the new kid on the block, Sanders. And while Shador had the fewest reps in recent practice sessions, he made every single one count. The rookie logged 9 touchdowns and just 1 interception. More scores than some of his competitors' completions. Even more impressive, he completed 74% of his passes. That's a lead by any standard, especially for a player who was under constant pressure last year at Colorado, where he was sacked an eye-popping 42 times. His accuracy, his ability to make layered throws, and the confidence behind his arm. It's winning over some serious football minds. Former wide receiver James Jones didn't hold back, saying, "Has the most talented quarterback on that roster. You've got to start him week 1." Not everyone agrees, of course. And that brings us to the second part of the story, the part that's stirring up controversy. Just as Sanders seemed to be gaining momentum, a misstep off the field pulled the spotlight in a different direction. Late one night in Strongsville, Ohio, police caught the rookie doing 101 miles per hour on I-71. That's 41 over the limit, driving a Dodge Chevy TRX. And here's the kicker. This was his 2nd speeding ticket in the same month. NFL commentators didn't hold back. Mary Kay Cabo was quick to point out the optics why as a rookie quarterback in the middle of a crucial competition. Not that late. Veteran broadcaster Rich Eisen summed it up plainly. If we're talking about something other than football, it's a bad one. To his credit, Sanders responded with maturity. He released a brief statement that owned the mistake. "I've made some bad choices, and I'm learning from them." No excuses. Supporters like LaShawn McCoy are defending him, calling it growing pains for a young man learning life under the microscope. But the Browns front office is watching closely. This team has no tolerance for distractions. So is this just a flip-up or something bigger? Despite being listed 4th on the depth chart, Sanders is making his presence felt. Inside the Browns locker room, he's earning the respect of teammates, and that matters. According to ESPN's Chad Johnson, star cornerback Denzel Ward said Shatter isn't like most rookies. He's calm, composed,
and his quiet confidence is making an impact. He's ready to challenge Flacco for the starting role. Sanders simply said, "We've got preseason first." That wasn't just a neutral answer. It was a message. People noticed. An assistant coach inside the organization was quoted anonymously saying, "In 15 years, I've never seen a rookie control a minicamp like this." Still, there are plenty of skeptics. They point to his draft position. Pick 144, as proof the league didn't see him as a high-end prospect. And now with 2 speeding tickets in the span of a month, some wonder whether he's mature enough to handle the pressure. But here's the reality: Deshaun Watson is sidelined for 2025. Joe Flacco is aging. The door is open. The only question is, what we're witnessing isn't just a quarterback battle. It's a battle of narratives. Guys like Colin Cowherd are criticizing Sanders' judgment. When you fall to 144 in the draft and then try to match that number behind the wheel, that tells me a lot. But not everyone's buying into the criticism. Analysts like Emmanuel Acko and Leon McCoy argue there's more going on here. Maybe even some bias in the way Sanders is being covered. They can't tear down his performance. McCoy said, so they're spinning his personal life. Acko added, because he's perfect, you expect him to learn. And James jumped. He quoted his grandmother, "Branson, people want to see you fall. Don't give them the chance." So far, Sanders isn't giving them the chance. He's accepting responsibility. He's performing at a high level. And he's proving his college numbers. That 71% career completion rate weren't a fluke. The big question now, are we holding young quarterbacks to possible standards? Or does Sanders need to rein it in if he wants to survive the unforgiving world of the NFL? The story's still unfolding. But one thing's for sure, the Browns' locker room is a pressure cooker right now. And Sanders, he might just be the spark. Is this the quarterback Cleveland has been waiting for? Or will the outside noise and the expectations bring his rise to a halt? Let me know what you think in the comments. Or is the team moving too fast? If you appreciated the breakdown, give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next update. This is Spell of Dart, where we dig deeper than the headlines and tell it like it is.
A rough go there on third down, a loss of 4. Here comes the Saints punter now, as he's on to punt for the first time tonight. They only punted twice in the win last week as he gets this one away. That'll be a 43-yard punt, just a single yard on the return. And it will be Falcon football.
Once again, always great.
The Atlanta offense out there for their next drive. And they were winners the last time they took the field, which was 2 weeks ago. They had the open week last week, so this is a squad that should be really refreshed and ready to roll.
I would agree, because when you get that open week after a victory, it does wonders for everyone. Obviously, your body get a chance to heal up, but your mind as well. You feel good about winning, so now you can get away from it for a few days, put down the playbook, turn off the film, just be you. Enjoy that time away, and then you come back ready to go.
His first catch, good for 9 and a first down.
When an offense reads blitz, doesn't matter where it's coming from, tight ends know that they become a big part of the passing game, because they should be an easy outlet when all those extra bodies are trying to get to the quarterback. A hot route, so to speak.
National championship, that's going to change the scene.
On first and 10, it's Robinson. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. Second and right at a yard. Well, you often say that sort of opens the playbook now, second and short. What do you think, early shot here?
I like where you're going. Obviously, we've been together for a while, because you know me. I want to take that shot early and loosen things up.
Which I think
second and 1.
Change. This has never
Firing quickly here, and that's complete. They'll get 3 as the drive continues. It's a first down.
Felt that he would be a number 1. Let's pick that number 5 to 10. There were a lot of teams that passed up on him. Some teams that didn't.
They'll run this one right with Robinson.
That did
broke through some contact, but unable to reach the 40. A gain of 3 last play. This time they double it and pick up 6.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent game.
Here now, second and 4. Again here with Robinson. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. It'll be a loss of a full 3 yards there, and it also brings up third down. So 7 yards from the first down here as they come up to the line of scrimmage. Back to throw.
that will run into your mouth and say things about you.
As tight ends go, he might not provide the super flashy plays very often, but he's pretty reliable. Usually an excellent target and normally catches what's thrown to him, but he didn't on that play.
Oh, it's a wobbler here.
Has a YouTube channel.
And here's a fair catch taken at about the 24-yard line. That'll go for only 17 yards on the punt. And the Saints will take over with a first down and 10. The Saints offense on the field ready to get their drive started. And, of course, this a critical game in regards to not just the division race, but playoff seeding as well. They are a game up, but a loss here could really muddy the waters.
And both of these teams want to clear things up about how they feel about each other and their standing in the league. Because these two teams, they've really been the cream of the crop in their division. So this game, it's been looming on both of their schedules.
Tom Brady. And, he gets pretty hard-hitting content in this show.
Second and 2.
But he really didn't take
It's a short one here. Flip to the tight end. And he's going to be brought down on what will be the final play of this first quarter. After 1, 7-3 the score on EA Sports.
I think he should be struck by lightning for saying such a thing. My God. I think it's sacrilegious to say what he said. Mainly saying that he's just as good as Deion Sanders was as a cornerback in the NFL.
Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on first down.
Here we go.
They'll bring a receiver in motion left. On first down, they'll go to the ground attack. And able to break one tackle, quickly brought down, but a nice little gain. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4. The Saints at 8-4 now in the year, and they're coming on a pretty good roll here. Winners of 3 straight.
And I thought that they played pretty well last week. Their execution, their discipline, their resilience, all on display in that victory.
Views on that interview, which was fantastic for him. And
another shot here on the ground. And he's over midfield and into Falcon territory. He got half of what he needed there, 2 yards, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 2 more.
That play reminded me a lot of a former teammate of mine. We used to call him the trash man. His ability to sift through traffic and make plays was uncanny.
And that's exactly what you want from your Mike linebacker.
How he really felt about how
they'll go to the air here on 3rd and 2.
Marginalized, underestimated, and
this one is incomplete.
Well, he'd been targeted quite a bit on this drive, and finally I think the guys on the defensive side, they said no more. They slapped the double coverage on him, made it very tough for him to get the ball.
Here comes the Saints punter now, as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. 46 on his first kick, this one in that neighborhood as well. So possession goes over here on the punt, and the Falcons will get it 1st and 10 from deep in their own territory.
That punt was near perfection as it checked up inside the 5-yard line. You never know where these things are going to go, do you?
No, what was it? You got a John Heisman quote about that, right?
He said the football is roughly a polar spheroid, which means it's going to bounce funny, and you never know where it's going to end up.
And they'll get him down up past the 15. They were looking for a cushion from that end zone. He gave it to him, 15 big yards.
I guess it's good we can't really read the mind of the defensive coordinator now, huh?
Had him pinned back there deep, give up that run. Can't be happy.
Yeah, whatever's in his mind right now, we probably couldn't say over the air.
And he'll find some space up to about the 25. 43 yards rushing for him now in the ball game.
That was a really nice job by them picking up the run blitz and detecting it and blocking it and turning it into a nice run. And a lot of times you think if you blitz a running play, you're going to smother it. But a lot of the blitzers, they come in a little bit high. They don't have great leverage, and they're easily blocked and turned to the side.
They'll get 3 as the drive continues. It's a first down.
Here we go. Out of their way to sort of sabotage.
Straight ahead, it's Robinson trying to run inside, but nothing there. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down.
As usual, the hallmark of a good run defense, linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
Scouts, what have you, who are trying to show or teach a Coach Prime a lesson.
Now a 2nd and 10.
Coach Prime came in with Asante Samuels. He basically admitted that he's very disappointed in his peers.
Looking to throw. Curtis. And the Saints pressure gets him. Down for a sack.
He's at the NFL.
Couldn't get away. He'll wind up losing a dozen yards. A 12-yard loss, and it brings up 3rd.
NFL, NFL lied. They lied because first they said that
The
Shador
offense on
Sanders
3rd down
came
tonight,
to the
just
meeting.
1 for 3 thus far. This will be 3rd and a mile.
Came to the meeting as a
Back to throw.
unlistening,
Curtis.
arrogant.
And that is incomplete.
It's going to be another frustrating end to a drive here. This offense, they've not been able to get anything going in this first half. And now it's going to be time to gather on the sidelines and try and figure out what's going wrong. Who has an idea? Who has a plan? Time to implement it.
That he walked into the room where his peer was.
And here's a very low-line drive, almost whiffed on it. Just 21 yards on the punt there. And the Saints will have a short field in front of them. They take over here, 1st and 10.
The bottom line is, I believe Coach Prime, that they had it out for him because of how outspoken Coach Prime was prior to the draft. Outspoken about where he would like to see his son play.
They'll run on 1st down. Cox. And he edges forward, but only gets a pair of yards out of it. And it's 2nd down.
Certainly a nice job there by the defense, rallying to the football and getting him on the ground. But I think the play gets made by the defensive front. Because if they can't get upfield, their job is to go ahead and get low, almost get into a ball sometimes, stack things up, and make it difficult for the runner to find a hole.
Coach Prime, that they felt that maybe this is a guy that might get tired.
And they are able to stop him, but he does take it all the way to the 2. 38 yards on the scamper there.
Now that's the kind of run that fires up an entire team. Tackled at the 2-yard line. For the defensive guys, a little bit of a sigh of relief, though. They stopped him short of the goal line. Now they got to figure out how to shore up the rest of the defense.
Right back to him on 1st down. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. A great play there with his first career NFL touchdown. And the Saints are able to add on to that lead. And that moment we just saw, always so special for any rookie, the first touchdown of his career.
And there's nothing like anticipation, is there? You know he's been dreaming about it, thinking about it. It's been a part of every bit of his being. And finally, it gets done. He's got to feel great right now.
Retrade over. They keep getting higher here, higher there, because the NFL is about
the kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away.
With owners, coaches on that coaching staff that maybe coach with you, college,
a dangerous return
or
man
another
showing it
NFL
here.
team. It's about
And good starting field position. He'll get this one all the way up to about the 35-yard line.
They're getting opportunity. Yeah, you do have
About set to begin their next drive. The Falcons offense at the line. And it's been very much a slow start for them. 3 drives and just the 3-point seeding.
Yeah, if you're into the points per drive ratio, that answer is 1. And that's not going to get it done in a ball game. They've got to find a way to finish these drives in zones, not having balls go through goalposts. We use the word relentless a lot with guys who are aggressive on the field. In this case, it really fits, doesn't it? How about his ability to break tackles and his feet never stop moving?
Back to Robinson now on 1st down. And nothing much materializing there on the 1st down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it.
They suspected it as a power play up the middle coming at them, and boy, were they right. That defense got downhill in a hurry and limited them to just a couple on 1st down.
Robinson with another carry. And he's going to take this across the 50 and into Saints territory. Another 2-yard gain there, but they'll need to do better this time. It's 3rd and 6.
We always know that he is tough in run support, and I think the way that he gets there is he understands what an offense is going to do before the ball's even snapped. A great job of scouting prior to the game.
All right, rifles one, and it's going to be intercepted. And a return across midfield into the 46-yard line. CD, I know it's just his 2nd year in the league as a quarterback, but that's going to be one when he flips on the tape. He's like, I shouldn't have thrown that ball.
No doubt about it, and his coaching staff will be emphatic about he shouldn't have thrown that ball. But remember, 2nd year, as you noted, on-the-job training. So he's got to take this feedback that he's getting, negative or otherwise, and turn it into positives moving forward.
On first down, they'll go to the ground attack. And a pretty good burst right there. They'll take this down to the 33. 57 yards rushing for him now on just 6 carries to this point.
I'm not sure how much more evidence they need, partner, but to understand if they don't start to slow him down, it's going to be a long afternoon here at the stadium because he is just shredding them at this point. And let's face it, coming into the game, they knew he would be the focal point of their attack. This is going to take an 11-man unit on the defensive side to start making plays.
Running game working. They'll stick with it on first down. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
Well, sometimes you just have to give credit to the defense. Great job there at the point of attack, holding up. Won their battles at the line of scrimmage, left him no space to try and run. A really nice job swarming to the ball carrier.
Back-to-back 1-yard runs here, so that leaves them with a 3rd down and 8. Just not a whole lot of room to operate there on that carry.
No, not at all. They did a really nice job staying in their proper places and not allowing any lanes to open up.
They got to get to the 23 here on 3rd. They'll drop the throw. Under pressure, and down he goes. They sack him back at the 36. And that'll bring up 4th down. A big sack with a loss of 5. Now the Falcons going to use one of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 25 seconds to go here in half number 1.
I'm going to tell you the video that I'm going to put for you, and I'm going to play for you just a moment. These are all lines, everybody, about his character. Shador's character.
Out now is the field goal unit for New Orleans. From the right hash, this from 53.
I just don't feel good about that. I think there's somebody out there.
He had the distance, but it's no good. Line to the right. Made an 11-point spread.
And now 2 problems as I see it. First, you missed the kick, which granted wasn't a long one. But second, you set the other guys up with great field position and enough time to maybe get downfield and get a field goal attempt of their own.
The Atlanta offense out there for their next drive. And with decent starting field position, there may be only a couple completions away from field range. The Falcons going to use the 2nd of their timeouts. So as they talk it over, we step aside. Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps pretty well, but somehow able to muscle his way open and catch the ball.
Potential teammates. Some guys
Gonna let one fly for Robinson. That's going to be knocked and incomplete.
Trying to get something positive to happen here before the break, and they sure need it. They went for the big one, but it winds up incomplete.
Coming out of college, anything in the NFL, and they don't get this type of treatment like Shador. Okay? Shador.
So after the 2nd down incompletion, they'll come up now against a 3rd and 6.
I found that Shador was very
operating from the gun. Curtis. And they'll find the open man. That's complete. 4 seconds left, and there's the timeout.
Set up my locker
in field goal range and a chance to tack on 3 before intermission.
He said that he said anything.
So with 4 seconds to go in the half, here's the field goal unit onto the field. He connected on his first, this from 41. And his kick is good. And that will do it for this first half. And that'll do it for the end of the 2nd quarter. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports.
It doesn't fit any of the crap that certain NFL officials around the NFL.
Welcome back. Halftime over. We are ready for quarter number 3 alongside Charles Davis and Brandon Gordon. It'll be Falcons football, and they trail here as we get back underway on EA Sports. Oh, a good-looking return set up here. And they'll have very good starting field position as he's out just shy of the 40. About set to begin their next drive, the Falcons offense at the line. And They do trail, but they have a chance to possess the football first to try and do something about it.
And that certainly makes it something of an important drive for them because is it going to win the game? No, but you have to do something to bring some life to your sideline.
Doesn't understand that this is his first year to make relationships within the locker room within the NFL. That's a young man that's willing to
give left side to Robinson.
Fuck.
Yards on the pickup. It'll be second down.
We know that old expression, it's not my night. It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
Every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play.
But you got coaches in the NFL.
Looking to throw. Curtis. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
Another attempt, another incompletion. And when I look at the scoreboard and where we are in this game, it comes to mind that they have to start getting the ball in the hands of their playmakers. Throw it to the guys that maybe can take a short pass and turn it into a long gain or make people miss downfield. They've got to have points. And the guys who can put the ball in the end zone, they're the ones that need to touch the ball.
And that will be incomplete.
Nice back-to-back plays defensively. They're stacking momentum now. One incompletion, two incompletion. They're going for more.
The Falcons send out their punter as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And now a low liner. I think he mishit it.
But at the same time,
and now it looks like he's in some discomfort after being tackled at the end of that return. Well, hopefully, obviously nothing serious here. Medical staff, though, going to take a peek, and we'll take a break. Getting set for their next drive, the New Orleans offense. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And this one not going anywhere. They get him at the 44 for a gain of just a yard.
That felt like a trap because it looked to me like the opposing front was on that play from the get-go. They never were crashing the ball carrier before he even made the line, and they hold him to just a yard.
One back in the backfield, and he gets the carry. And a lane slow and materializing there as he'll get maybe a yard up to the 45.
Sometimes your philosophies get challenged at times you don't want them to. They did try to stick to the running game on the first two plays. It didn't amount to much.
And now facing a third and long at the outset of this drive. Now third down and 7.
He's talked to some NFL ranks. He's talked to some, this brother got a few insights. He's talked to some people inside about
over the middle, and there's a diving catch. They'll get 15 and a Saints first down.
The key number on that play, 3. Third play of the drive. Third down, spectacular catch, turns into a first down.
First down saves them from a 3 and out. Credited with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
Oh, there's plenty of traffic waiting for him up the middle. But give him credit, he tried barreling through anyway. They're fortunate to get a yard out of that one.
This is really unfortunate.
Here now 2nd and 9 from the 39-yard line.
And sort of
and they'll run on the inside handoff. It'll be a gain of 5, but still about 3 yards shy of the first down marker, and now it's third down.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time and making it work.
With that said, let me let you see the video. Coach Prime.
They missed a field goal on their last drive. Here they need something to even get into field goal range on third down. From the gun, he'll hand this off. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36. They lost 2, and it brings up 4. Out now is the field goal unit for New Orleans. From the right hash, this from 53. And I don't think this has the carry. It does not. It's no good. And this will stay a one-score game as the lead holds at 8. Listen, now no kick from 50 plus is a gimme, but here you're indoors in a dome. You'd think ideal conditions.
Yeah, it's one that he would expect himself to make, not just us expecting him to make it. Over the years, my theory is very simple. The athletic ability of kickers continues to get better and better. Check their backgrounds. They were all county, all state, and other positions, not just soccer players. These guys expect themselves to be great as well.
2nd and 4. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete. So another incompletion there. He's hitting on fewer than half his pass attempts in this one, and that is not a winning formula.
Yeah, so let's make sure we give a little bit of credit to the defense here. They're giving him a lot to think about, a lot of different looks. He seems a little bit confused trying to complete passes.
And he'll go down inside the 45 before going out of bounds. 75 yards rushing for him as he starts to close in now on 1,200 yards for the season. It's Robinson. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
I know they've got to be careful not to go to the well too often, but it's a fine line, isn't it? Because sometimes, if you got success, you want to just keep pounding away.
But no success there. They rallied quickly on the defensive end. And that is going to be incomplete as he led him a bit too much. He has still not connected on a single pass in the second half.
And right now, they're going through all the different reasons, the whys, the wherefores. Bottom line, got to find some completions in there and get their offense moving.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Back to throw. Curtis. He's taken down here by the Saints. Kayvon Thibodeau, he beat the O-line and recorded the sack.
Okay, I'm not sure you could actually draw a better pass rush than that one right there. There's nowhere to go outside. They had to keep backing up and backing up and backing up. Eventually dropped for a huge loss.
Now on 4th down, on is the punt team sending this one away. So a change of possession here on the punt. And out will come the offense as they take over. The Saints offense on the field, ready to get their drive started. And last time out, another missed field goal, so maybe their confidence wavering a little bit right now in the kicking game.
And I'm with you on that. I think at this stage, they'd love to not run him back out there in a tough situation. But let's face it, they may have to. So right now, the head coach is talking to the offense coordinator and saying, call this game like we're going to put it in the end zone. Let's try and take the field goal out of it.
And they'll keep leaning on the running game, back to the ground. And he'll be pretty well stopped in his tracks. Give him a yard up to the 42.
And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
Here comes 3rd down and 7. Back to throw here. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40. It'll be a Saints 1st down on a gain of 16 yards.
We often hear the phrase sure-handed tight ends, and he certainly fits into that category. Plus, he's got a quarterback who knows to look his way when they need a big pickup. And on this play, he finds him for the 1st down.
2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down.
You've got to be impressed by that defensive front on reps like those. They were not being moved off the line, kept their shoulders square, and gave their teammates time to fight to the ball and limit that gain.
From the gun, they'll try to run it. 2 yards on the 1st down carry, and then followed up by 2 yards on the 2nd down carry.
Well, that's definitely not going to be enough to get the job done. Wasn't the expression 3 yards in a cloud of dust?
Now they're going to need 6 on 3rd down to keep the drive going. If they want a first, they need to get the football to the 32 here on 3rd down.
60 Bobcat! 60 Bobcat!
They'll look to throw. And that would not to be. It's incomplete. So they couldn't hook up as time has now run out on this third quarter of play. One quarter remains here as we wrap up the week on a Monday night. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. Here comes the Saints punter now as he's on to kick it away. Yeah, he was looking for the checkup bounce, didn't get it. That scoots all the way into the end zone now for a touchback. The Atlanta offense out there for their next drive.
See if they can put this drive in the end zone, Charles, because it's been a little bit of a rough go at times. They've had to punt the football a ton in this ball game because of stalled-out drives.
So are you saying that you're kind of tired of seeing the punter run out there and do his thing during this game? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I mean, I'm okay with it. I have a feeling that this offense, they don't want to see the punter again.
And frankly...
Oh, what a heck of an effort there as he'll make the diving catch. It's a gain of 13 and a first down for Atlanta.
And that's a much-needed first down right there. Look, they're down by 8. So logic says they don't have to get a touchdown out of this drive. But the way things are going, I don't know if I put it in the hands of my defense here. You might not get the ball back at all. So if a fourth down situation comes up, I'm thinking hard about going for it right here and right now.
So from the 37, here's a second down and 9.
Looking to throw. Curtis. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
We've seen this quite a few times in this game. Offensive line unable to keep leverage, unable to keep people away, facing a lot of pressure. Fortunate just to get rid of it.
One of the reasons they're down is that inability, though, to stop the pressure. We saw another example of it there.
And good vision there as he's across midfield and down to the 45-yard line. 95 yards rushing for him so far as his terrific season continues here.
Another carry for their leader and a good one. It's crunch time. They'll need him to continue to be productive in both the run and passing game in order for them to try and snatch a victory.
On the counter, this is Robinson.
It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
Well, that last run makes this a 100-yard night. I've loved the way he's hit the holes. He's been quick, he's been decisive, and he's been a whole lot of fun to watch.
From the 38 now, here's a second down and 4.
Back to throw. Curtis. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. Catch number 40 for him on the year. It's a first down.
And the tight end is certainly a position built to move the chains because they can control space underneath. If they've got good hands, then, of course, they're a dynamic target. But one other thing is they're right in the sight lines of a quarterback on just about every play. And that makes it easier for the quarterback to pick him out and deliver.
Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
I think we call that season's greetings right there. He came up, pow! Knocked him for a loss.
Nowhere to turn here, and he's going to go down. Back at about the 37-yard line. So apparently some grabbing there in the middle of the O-line.
I've often wondered why that doesn't happen more often for guys that play center. Having to snap the ball and then trying to get your hands into the proper position, that's difficult to do. He got caught that time.
Now they face a 2nd and long following the holding penalty.
Robinson on a give right side. And he's able to break out of one tackle, but then quickly brought down. Well done to sniff that out defensively. He had it diagnosed pretty quickly.
I love that description because diagnosed is perfect on that one. Read his keys, made the play, and he couldn't even get going moving the football.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw.
Working the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete.
And finally, down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. Now a chance to make that big play really hurt. It's first and goal just outside the 5.
They'll run with Robinson.
And he's brought down right at the 5-yard line. Give him 2 on the play.
The yards may start getting a little tougher to come by down here near the goal line. That's good work defensively there on first down, holding them to a short gain.
And the ball smack dab on the 5-yard line. Here's second and goal.
Again, it'll be Robinson.
And he's going to get him about 3 yards closer. He's down to about the 2. 2 straight shots on the ground. Now on third, do you go to the air?
I think the possibility exists, and if you're doing it, you're probably going play action since you ran it twice. But I often think that second down is a time you go play action and throw the ball. I say commit to the run and think about it being 4-down territory.
Robinson.
Boy, no chance as he was met and dropped behind the line there.
Well, now hang on here because he appears to be shaken up. So as the medical staff takes a look, we'll step aside.
So the field goal unit is on the field as this is a big spot right here. And his kick is right there. It's good, and that'll get the lead down to 5. So an interesting call there to take the 3. I mean, I guess they're thinking that their hands were tied, but, you know, fourth quarter, that field goal might not help them that much in the end.
Yeah, eventually they're going to need the touchdown. The thinking must have been they didn't feel confident about picking it up there, hoping maybe on defense they can get better field position, get a turnover, get a better play, and then they'll have a chance to attack the end zone.
Getting set for their next drive, the New Orleans offense. Right now clinging to a 1-score lead, Charles, and I think operating within that 4-minute offense with a little less than 4 minutes to go applies here, right?
It certainly does, and that means the playbook is still wide open. But you are a little bit more careful about what you're calling. You want plays that are going to gain yardage, how would you say it, consistently, right? You don't need the big shots downfield, but make sure the clock continues to run. Pile up the first downs, and the goal, end the game with your quarterback kneeling down at the end, and you still have the lead.
And he'll go out of bounds, it appears, right at the 45. Yeah, so they get that one, Charles, on the right tackle.
Yeah, oftentimes in that spot, you're trying to work against a defender, trying to set the edge in the running game, and you're trying to drive around and get your body twisted so that he can't get there. Sometimes your hands get too involved.
He'll drop to throw. He finds his man, complete. It's Cox.
As a defense, you're more balanced when you're in zone coverage because you're able to keep your eyes on the quarterback and see the play develop in front of you. They're able to keep the quick pass in front of them and stop it right at the line of scrimmage.
They'll look to throw here.
He's got his target. That's complete.
Yeah, he's got to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40.
What a call there on third down. Took conviction, didn't it? If this is incomplete, the complexion of this game changes dramatically. Instead, not only is this a first down, but it's a big play to boot.
On first down, it's Cox. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on second down.
All right, that's a decent game there, but it hasn't been his best game overall. So I wonder what the mindset is of his team. Do they want him to handle the football and try and close this game out? Or are they going to make an alternative plan and maybe go in a different direction?
I think they need him, and this is his time to shine. They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And he'll be a little shy of the 25 here at the 26-yard line.
Not too many more ideal situations in 2nd and 2 in order to try and pick up a first down. They ran it and picked it up.
5 points of contact necessary at this stage as they'll run on first down.
And that's just a solid, good physical run there as he motors for 9 yards.
I like the call there because that was one to take time off the clock and get them closer to getting out of here with a W. In the mind of the play caller, all you want to hear is tick, tick, tick.
On second down, they'll run it here. And he's brought down just outside of the 10 at the 11.
Well, that's a carry they have to be satisfied with. And throughout this game, They've been satisfied with what he's given them. Whenever they've needed a big run, a first down, he's the guy they've turned to. And it doesn't matter what the defense thinks. They feel like they've got the confidence to keep handing it to him and keep picking up good yardage.
And he'll fight his way down inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. So it's the big left tackle who gets tagged with a hold.
And sometimes you're actually executing the block well, and he starts to slip off of you, and instinctively you reach out and grab him. And when it's done like that, it's often seen by the official and called.
Quick hitter here, it's complete. And this will be a gain of 6 when it's all said and done, down to the 15 from the 21.
Nice rhythm throw there on first down. He located his tight end, made it a nice, easy pitch and catch.
Hoping he can break a tackle or two. Wasn't able to do that there, but still good yardage. On second down, they'll run it here. And he's brought down just outside of the 10 at the 11. And with inside of 10 seconds, 8 to be precise, we get whistles and a timeout on the field. So now one of the biggest kicks of the night is forthcoming. This to put him a touchdown and a 2-point conversion up. And his kick is good. And the drive will wind up yielding 3. Now, from a defensive perspective, though, I think maybe they're saying, hey, we did what we needed to do, kept this a one-score game.
Yeah, without a doubt, because they were able to bleed some time off the clock, right? Put themselves in a good position, but it's not out of reach yet, okay? Being able to hold them to a field goal means that they do have a chance to come back and win this game.
And good starting field position. He'll get this one all the way up to about the 35-yard line. One final shot. They'll look to throw. And it's incomplete. So their final drive comes up empty. And with that, the ball game is over. A fun, close ball game comes to an end. On that last play, Charles, they were on the wrong side of midfield. They needed something near a